Can I start by thanking Kate, the wonderful Kate Nichols, and UK Hospitality for inviting me to attend this very important event. Having met my wife when she was working by the bar at our local pub, hospitality is very close to my heart, and that was 30 odd years ago. It's also very close to my wallet. I'm a living testament to the fact that entering hospitality venue can be a life-changing event for children later. But I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Kate and her team for the support they provided to their members and for their hard work in supporting the government during the pandemic and through the current challenges facing businesses. It has indeed been a very challenging 3 years, as you, of course, know. At the start of the pandemic, the hospitality sector didn't have a sponsoring department, which meant it didn't have a voice in government. That responsibility fell to the Department for Business and Trade, which I'm delighted to be here to represent, which very quickly put a dedicated team in place to build a close working relationship with the sector we need. It has been a very effective relationship. It's helped to navigate the restrictions we unfortunately had to put in place to reduce the spread of COVID, and it helped us influence the Chancellor's business support package, which provided a vital lifeline to so many businesses and saved so many jobs. The fact that so much of the government's £400 billion business support package was targeted at hospitality, and indeed it was the first sector that was supported, the hospitality, retail and leisure businesses, is testament to just how effectively we worked together. And we did that because we all recognise just how vitally important hospitality sector is to us all. It is important because it provides accessible, flexible jobs, around 1.8 million of them, and not to mention those who are working to supply pubs, clubs and restaurants around the country. It is important economically. The sector generates around £35 billion a year nationally and is a key engine of growth. Delighted to see the output for this sector is actually 7% higher than it was in 2019, a really fantastic effort. It is also very important, of course, at the local level, energising our high streets, attracting visitors and helping establish the right environment for inward investment. I know in my constituency of Thirsk Malton, which is in glorious North Yorkshire, the visitor economy is hugely important. And we have those wonderful hospitality venues like the Durham Ox at Crake, the Star at Hareham, and the wonderful fish and chips you get at Ingham's and in Filey. These are crucial elements of my visitor economy, and this is true for constituencies up and down the country. It's also important, of course, socially. The pandemic showed us just how much we needed it and missed it. A space to relax and socialise, to entertain, or just to be amongst people. For businesses that exist to bring people together, the pandemic was always going to have a disproportionate impact on hospitality businesses. And when we lost it to the pandemic, it was a massive wake-up call for us all. Seeing our high streets deserted, not seeing and hearing our friends and neighbours chatting and laughing, not enjoying sports on a big screen in a lively environment with a pint. Without a doubt, those days were bleak and incredibly frustrating. And that's why it was right the government stepped up to the plate, providing £400 billion in support, including furlough, grants, loan guarantees, regulatory easements, cuts in VAT and business rates, and a moratorium on commercial rent recovery. Of course, we all hoped that once the COVID restrictions were lifted and businesses were able to operate more freely, we could look forward to a period of recovery. But, as we all know, that recovery has been undermined and hampered by Russia's illegal war on Ukraine, which has pushed up energy and other commodity prices. And so we continue to work closely with the sector. We continue to listen, and we continue to work across government to represent the interests of hospitality throughout the current challenges. Of course, businesses want more help. I understand that, and the Chancellor understands that too. But we need to strike a difficult balance between helping businesses and those families most in need, whilst at the same time continuing to restore public finances to ensure we have the financial resilience we need to recover and grow as an economy. High energy costs are clearly a massive concern for businesses right now, which is why the Chancellor introduced, of course, the £18 billion Energy Bill Relief Scheme, which runs to the end of March. The Energy Bill Discount Scheme for UK businesses will run from April 2023 for a further 12 months. Now, I know very clearly, and Kate and I discussed it at length shortly before I came to make this speech, that the discount scheme is on less favourable terms than the relief scheme. But we are working across government and with Ofgem to see what more we can do to ensure any government support and reductions in wholesale prices filter through to end users as quickly as possible. We do need to get into a position where hospitality businesses are more resilient against economic shocks, of course, and that was one of the lessons from the pandemic. Low margin, high turnover businesses have little room for manoeuvre. That is why in July 21 we published our first ever hospitality strategy, developed in collaboration with the sector. This set out an approach to helping businesses reopen following the easing of COVID restrictions and support the sector's recovery and longer-term resilience. The strategy set out 22 important commitments, as well as our intention to establish a hospitality sector council to oversee delivery of the strategy, with members drawn from across the sector. The council has done some great work so far, creating cross-sector thematic working groups to take forward our shared priorities, including on environmental sustainability, innovation and investment, trade and tourism, business resilience, and of course, jobs and skills. I'm very pleased to say the work we have done so far to deliver against the strategy's commitments will be published very shortly. In fact, right at the point I end this speech. Across the country, millions of people work in pubs, bars and restaurants, but quite often those jobs are undervalued and the sector overlooked. It is true that the sector offers accessible entry-level jobs, but they are not low-skilled jobs, far from it. It's also a misconception that hospitality does not provide opportunities for rewarding careers. The sector is like any other, with all the opportunities other sectors provide in terms of career development. We just need to be as good at selling the opportunity as we are selling the sizzle. If people can see the potential for a rich and rewarding career in hospitality, if the training opportunities are there and people can see a clear career path from training to employment with qualifications, then they will come. If employees can see a clear pathway to developing their careers and progressing to higher skilled, better paid jobs, if their well-being is looked after, and if they are nurtured, then they will be more likely to stay. So this is a priority for me, the Hospitality Sector Council, and the sector-led Hospitality and Tourism Skills Board. And between us, we are delivering results. For example, during National Apprenticeship Week 2022, the sector launched the Career Starter Apprenticeship campaigns. These highlighted the fact that the hospitality industry does not only provide a great first job at level 2 apprenticeship, but people can progress through level 3 and level 4. That can help those working at front of house to progress from hospitality team member through supervisor to manager. It can help those looking to follow in the footsteps of Marcus Waring and Tom Kerridge to progress from commis chef to chef de partie, or from production chef to senior production chef. So good work on apprenticeships so far, but there is still more to do. And I was very interested in Robert Nitch's comments in terms of confirming the government's commitment to skills training, and that key qualifications should be trained and training should be employer-led, but also the very high satisfaction rates from both employers and apprenticeships for these schemes, but whilst highlighting the fact there is more work to do, particularly on making sure apprenticeships follow through those qualifications right through to completion. The sector also helped create the Hospitality Rising recruitment campaign, which was launched in October 2022. The campaign is already helping to attract new talent to the sector, particularly amongst early career job seekers and school leavers. Sector initiatives such as Only a Pavement Away also have a key role to play in helping those vulnerable in society, including the homeless, ex-offenders and ex-military, into rewarding and stable careers in hospitality. And this is an important point to end on. Hospitality businesses are people businesses. They are social businesses. They are community businesses. They create community cohesion by bringing people from different backgrounds together and help protect the vulnerable in their communities, tackling isolation and loneliness. I look forward to continuing the work we are doing together to build a resilient hospitality sector that can prosper and grow, and I am confident that it will. Thank you.